And of course, he comforts himself in his last moments of life by reading the Psalms, reading the Bible. Now, I did notice with my very Catholic brain that Rod Serling was I believe he was an atheist Jew. I believe he was a secular Jew. And correct me if I'm wrong about that.
No, I believe that to be the case.
But he
From a
also
brief
wrote
search, that
during a
seems to be
time
the
when you
case.
didn't need to know someone's political or religious beliefs to enjoy the stories they turned out. That remember those days? That was
Yeah.
before 2014. Uh, and he doesn't read from the New Testament. He only reads from the Old Testament. So, but the sentiment is the same because as a Christian, I believe the God of the New Testament is the same God as the God of the Old Testament. You know, uh, but you would never see a religious man on the TV these days who was not an axe murderer. You would never see
Yeah.
that story played out unless the state was in the right and the Bible reader was in the wrong. You know, and you would
Yeah.
certainly never see the Bible shown as the guy's source of comfort and strength, strength enough to defy tyrants, strength enough to defy the totalitarian state. You see, the guys who are
Well,
worse than Stalin and Hitler.
well, of course. Well, one of the things I thought was interesting, because right at the end, when the Chancellor is declared obsolete and dragged off, I assume dragged off to be torn apart, that was the implication you're
Yeah,
left with. I mean, they obviously couldn't show that.
they didn't offer him
Um,
his choice of deaths. They dragged off. He was dragged off by a
yeah.
mob that was growling like a group of animals. It was the most disturbing thing I can remember from any Twilight Zone episode. And there's a lot of disturbing things from Twilight Zone episodes. Believe you me.
But he is begging and saying, "I can still be of use to the state. I want to serve the state," which reminded me of I think it's Lubyanka prison in
Lubyanka Prison.
Russia. During the Soviet days, there's stories of faithful members of the party still being faithful members of the party as they're put up against the wall and executed.
Yep.
Like, I don't know. There's something pathetic about that.
Very pathetic
Um,
because that's their
you've
god
been
now.
you've been betrayed by these people and still
And you still believe in the dream. Some of them
but you're
died.
still
Some of them
still
died
going, I'm
begging that their betrayal would not be made public, so that the people would not lose faith in the party.